Hello y'all. Today we have a bunch of new makeup to play with. This is not a first impression. I have tried all of these things off camera. In fact, these are items that you have seen on my face and I've received comments on so far. Folks asking me to do a tutorial on the looks that I have on my face, and I'm gonna be able to walk you through the steps that I took to get there. So, by so much popular request, I have four products from VIEVE, okay? VIVE Beauty by Jamie Genevieve. I have always had my eye on this brand, but I've been waiting for her to come out with a complexion product, and she did. So we have the Skin Nova Complexion Balm. You can see I am premenstrual, so you'll get a chance to see how much coverage we get out of these things, both on pigmentation and on blemishes. I got the Skin Nova Instant Radiance Primer, which I think has been around for a while, and I got a little one to try it, but I'm pretty pleased with it so far. I got the Modern Radiance Concealer in the shade Light 1, and then I got the Modern Radiance Cream Bronzer in the shade Light. And I didn't mention it, this is 120 is the shade that I got this in. I also have a bunch of stuff from Chanel. Some of it I bought, and some of it my sister had the audacity to get in PR. What? She's a fashion writer. She's not a makeup reviewer. But she was like, I got all this makeup from Chanel, and I was like, yes, I want it. So no one on YouTube is getting Chanel PR. So anyway, I bought this new blush from Chanel. This is like part of the new season. This is the, I will never be able to speak French properly, but this is Beige Eclatant, which if y'all recall in my last Peptides video, I had my eye on this shade. And so Jamie of Makeup on Your Radar told me that they were in stock, and I was like, yeah, it's a card. I also, it felt weird buying two blushes, but it is me. So I got their the La Tarot de Chanel. It's like supposed to be kind of tarot themed, I think, but I don't know. One of my viewers pointed out that they kind of belly flopped on it. It just looks like playing cards, like doesn't really look like tarot. I'm not really sure where they were going with that. But then my sister gave me this cute little eyeshadow. This is in the shade Rose in Hand, and it's like a shimmery coral. Her whole thing was coral. There's a lipstick also that I may or may not be able to locate, but it's not a new formula. And then I have a few other random things that aren't really random because y'all have been asking about them. So I did something that felt very silly. I bought a mini of the new Prisme Libre from Givenchy. We all love this powder, but this is the new reformulation without talc. And I bought it because everyone hates it. Like, that's a very strange feeling, is to buy something, like spend money on it, because it's like, oh, everyone hates this. I need to know. It's like, this smells bad, smell this. Did that, we'll see how bad it is. I also got the Tower 20, that actually will be a first impression, as you can see, it's still in the box. But I bought the translucent powder from Tower 28. I have used it a couple of times. Don't really have my thoughts together on it, but we'll see together today. I have the new Gucci highlighter, which did very much get overshadowed by Hindash's highlighters because Hindash's highlighters are exquisite. This is still very good, and I'm excited to use it on its own today. And then, after all of the talk in my Sarah Creel video about how her mascara compares very similarly to this, but this one is so much lower in price and you get more in the package, this is the new Causemetics new tubing mascara. I guess you could call it a reformulation, but it has a totally different name. So she did have a tubing mascara. She took it off the market. This is the new one. This one is called Shapeshift. I was looking at the PR box over there because I'm like, this is so small. Shapeshift tubing mascara, and we're gonna be using that as well. So let's go ahead and jump in, y'all. It is October 8th as I film this right now. There's a hurricane heading for my mother and my boyfriend. Just trying to busy myself at the moment. Let us commence with the Skin Nova Instant Radiance Primer. I have some SPF on. Like, I have my regular moisturizer on, and then I have the INNBEAUTY Project SPF because I love it. So this primer does have a little bit of a tint to it, right? It's a little bit golden. I don't think that it is too dark for me. It might be too dark for someone though, but I will say, I have to point out, while so far I really am impressed by these products, she did make a choice in the fact that they are fragranced, okay? I don't have a problem necessarily with fragrance in a product, especially as long as it's not going in my mouth. You know, a fragranced lip product that can be, I can really get in the way of the experience, and it can be prohibitive. I just won't put it on. But this does not linger. It has, I don't really know what that smell is. I'm sure that it's listed online, or like someone has already figured it out because this product, again, is not new, but the fragrance is there. So that's what she looks like. It is really beautiful and dewy, kind of tacky. So I don't think that I would compare it to like the Hydro Grip, the new one that has the shimmer in it, because it doesn't form that kind of thick layer that makes your makeup sort of levitate on the top of your skin. This one really sinks in. It really feels more like skincare, and it does cooperate obviously really well with the skin tint. Okay, so like I said, I got the Skin Nova Complexion Balm in 120. It does look a little bit light, which is fine. I would rather something be too light than too deep, as long as it matches my undertone. So that's what that looks like. And again, I say this all the time, I'm very much due for a peel. And as a result, I feel like it's kind of hard to tell what my skin tone is, because you see it as this like soft focus amalgam of my pigmentation on top of my skin tone. But when you get this all on, it matches my neck pretty well. And I think that that also has to do with the fact that it's not very high coverage. So it has a beautiful finish to it. I'm very, very impressed. I shouldn't say impressed. I'm impressed at the wear. I'm pleased at the finish, you know? I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I love that it is just very skin-like and better than skin. So it has a little bit of a hydration thing to it without being really slippy. It has a little more coverage to it, I think, than the Patrick Ta. I shouldn't say that, maybe. I'm comparing it to the Patrick Ta because it has a very similar finish, like that dewiness. It doesn't have that persistent dewiness that the Patrick Ta does, but let's see about coverage. Y'all, I traipsed all over the Sephora, one of the Sephoras in, I guess, near Nomad over the weekend in New York City, and I wanted to find something new so badly. I was really on the hunt for a blush, and I'm gonna make a video, and the video is going to be called All My Favorite Blushes Are Lipsticks. Because like, I feel like no one has any imagination right now about cream blush colors. They're all just staying in their lane. And then you go over to like NARS and Armani and like Makeup by Mario, and all their lipsticks are so interesting in their colors. And I'm like, where are the blushes? But it's like, just put it on your face. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. This is the Skin Nova and this is the Patrick Ta. Yeah, I was remembering wrong. The Patrick Ta does have more coverage, more perfecting quality. So I would say that, I mean, obviously it's a better skin tone match, but it's definitely earning its name as a foundation versus this being a skin tint. I always have to double check myself on those things. So low coverage, like I said, but we do have a really great concealer here that does have considerably more coverage. So it's like you have the options. That's actually my ideal, I think, situation, because I like to be able to control the coverage. And so it's like a concealer does need to be full coverage and also have flexibility to be able to be blended out. But I love to have a skin loving tint like this, that my skin just looks kind of better for it. You don't necessarily clock it as makeup, so it still leaves me with a lot of options. So I got this in light 1, and it is quite neutral. And I'm very pleased about that. Like, you can see how desaturated that color is. We're not seeing something that is immediately going peach, pink, yellow. It's just neutral and it's desaturated. And I really appreciate that, because a concealer, we can get away with fudging it a little bit, but I do love when something just blends right into my complexion. And so much of the time with a concealer, especially on fair skin, what we need is desaturation, not necessarily like this really strong adherence to an undertone. We get coverage on, I mean, this is a very not ideal situation, like a popped pimple, like covering something like that up is an absolute nightmare. That thing is really sore. So I think it does a pretty good job. We've got my pigmentation on my lip. Does a really nice natural job. I think I'd compare it most closely to the JOUES. So that's high praise. The JOUES Essential High Coverage Concealer is one of my favorites of all time. I think that this has just a touch more radiance to it than that, which I also appreciate. I think it would work really well, especially on winter skin, because this is a light version of what would match me. I think that it would work really well as a concealer that I could almost use as a foundation or put in select places to get coverage and blend it directly into my skin without any complexion product on it, because it has the flexibility of coverage. It has the radiance, so it actually looks like a skin finish, and the shade match is really good. Speaking of, I actually did buy one thing while I was in Sephora, and that was the KULFI concealer. They expanded the shade range. Before I had the lightest one that they had, I decluttered it because it just ended up not being right. It just was still too deep and too yellow for me, and so they expanded, and one of them is like this, just so unabashedly neutral that when I put it on, I was like, yep, you're coming home with me, because I remember loving that formula, and when I used the Sarah Creel, I was reminded of it. I was like, yeah, I remember the KULFI being like this, but the shade just didn't work for me, so now they have a shade for me, which is lovely. So that's quite nice. And it really wears comfortably all day. It wears very much like you're just wearing a good SPF or something. It doesn't feel makeup-y. I really like it. It's very ideal for me actually, because I love the Danessa Myricks for the same reason, but the Danessa Myricks has probably twice as much coverage, you know? So this being as thin as it is, and it just sort of adds radiance to the skin. It makes your skin look like it's more hydrated and healthier, which is, I always need that. So staying with Vive for a moment, we have one more product from Miss Jamie Genevieve. What did I do with it? It is the Modern Radiance Cream Bronzer. I did get this, I think in the latest shade, Light. This color is pretty great, honestly. It's very neutral, but not a contour on me. It's believable, and I do think it's like cool enough that it almost has a touch of green to it. I kind of feel like maybe not the fairest olives in the world, but like a light olive could very much get away with this. I don't know what Jamie Genevieve's undertones are. I know she's quite tan, but I don't know what her undertones are. I'd be interested to know if she is someone who advocates for the underserved olive undertone community, as it were. I am using my 105 from BK because it's just the best for things like this. It's just very satisfying to put something that large, fits perfectly into that pan, you know? So I've been wearing this. I traveled over the weekend and I brought this with me. That's a lot. And I just really like the color. The color goes on really evenly, really naturally. I think that this is probably a product, if I, you know, went and dove deep on it, it's probably a product that she created because she was mad, just like we all are, that the Chanel cream bronzer was reformulated. No one seems to like the reformulation. And then the shades in it also, they act so stingy about it. They're like, yes, you may have one more shade. And we're like, well, this still doesn't match me. They're like, it's Chanel, you know what I mean? Like, we're just supposed to like bow down and lick their boots. So anyway, that is beautiful. It's just beautiful, okay? Like, it's a believable tan on me without looking like I'm putting orange on or gray, you know? It's just, it's nice. It's just really nice. It richens up my complexion, and it's very, very, very easy to put on mindlessly. And much like everything else that I already have from her on my skin right now, it is not now making me feel like I need to apply a ton more makeup to like come up to meet this. I do feel like it's still more or less looks like a perfected version of me. I can still see my skin through it. It's still a skin finish. I just feel like I have a lot of options here, which, you know, what do we want? Options. All right, I'm going in with my Singe Beauty F01. I'm gonna use the contour right here from my HD Skin Face Essentials palette from Makeup Forever. It's actually kind of funny. I was in Sephora doing the thing that I do where I just go around and swatch things on the back of my hand, and I mean, I guess we all do it, but I'm like on this hunt, you know? And so I had swatched a lipstick that I really liked from Armani. I don't remember what it was called. No, that one was the green one. It was from NARS. There was a beautiful NARS lipstick that was kind of rusty colored, and I was like, do I need to buy this just to wear it as a blush? Because I did actually buy one of the new ones literally just to wear it as a blush. I have Envy. I'll show it to y'all in a minute. When I went around swatching it, I was like, I have a suspicion that it's going to be this color, and it was. So that is that bricky color from this palette. And I also totally take back what I said about wanting to buy the kind of like tropical Skittles version of this one, because I was swatching it and I was like, I mean, I know I said I liked the Singe Beauty Persimmon color, but like one shimmery yellow blush is enough in my collection. I do not need two. One is fine. It is a very cool thing, but I don't need like a collection of them like I need a collection of corals. This can still be the one. There is something really lovely about learning that you already have what you need. I think that that's a lot of the mental exercise that I do when I'm in Sephora, is just going in there and being like, well, I already have everything, so I'm gonna go. I have this theory about Chanel, right? And that is, you know, as they put these collections out, yes, a lot of times they will be really short-lived and they will have these discontinued collections and they'll become impossible to find, whatever. They'll put out these kinds of things that look very evergreen, right? This looks like a blush that's always going to exist. There's nothing special edition looking about it. And then Chanel will discontinue the beige one. And you're like, why? That's the most useful shade and they will discontinue it. Just that one. You'll only be able to find like the pink and the purple and the coral from now on, but you won't be able to get like the one in-betweeny shade that everyone wants. And so I bought it up because I was like, look, I'm not gonna get caught without in this case because I just need to know. So in terms of beiges, this is quite a coral beige. And I'm, you know, I didn't know what to expect when I bought it because it kind of looked just neutral online, but I like it. It's really pretty. To the uninitiated, I'm sorry. I use peach and coral interchangeably because peach is just coral plus white. And so I kind of think of colors in terms of, especially blushes, like in terms of how much they're influenced by yellow, red, and blue, you know, the primary colors. And so like coral has the same amount of yellow and red in it, and so does peach, and then white is just like an adjuster. So yeah, I realized that is a peach swatch on my hand. I do know that. So let's put some of that on, and then we might top with some of the Tarot one. I do think that you're gonna watch me transform this complexion into something sort of tonal orange, and I will demonstrate how to make that look natural, because as you can see, the naturally occurring sort of pigment in my face is not coral. It's like more like purple, you know? And so those are the things that we're gonna have to camouflage. Not fix, but just camouflage. This is the 112 from BK. I think I've just been using a sponge with this, but I love this brush. So this is a cream, but it's like a cream powder hybrid. It's quite, you know, silicone-y feeling. I mean, that's a good brush for cream blushes, but I'm not sure if it's doing more harm than good in this case. Need something shorter and denser. I have this CL cream blush brush. There, now you can really see the color. And what I've been doing is, if I can locate the lipstick, I've been using that as a cream blush to top this off, and I just sort of put it right at the top of my cheeks. And that was what I think drew so much commentary in the video that I did that in, was because people are just like, this is so girly, this is so feminine for you. And it was really just that I had used something so kind of, you know, vivid in that like K-beauty style, like right underneath the eyes, and it does. It looks very childlike. So if I can find it, I'll do it. I'm sure it's around. I did finally realize that in order to find my phone, I don't always have to like use my iPad. This is like, you know, this is truly idiot 101 here, but I'll just be in the middle of my house and I'll go, hey Siri! And then I can find her. Oh, so brilliant. When I figure these things out on my own, things that probably have been widely common knowledge for a very long time. Welcome to being me. All right. Ooh, okay. We are getting towards, yes, dangerously orange territory, only because, again, my lips are purple. My lips being purple. Once you take that away, this starts to make a little bit more sense. So we're just going to, you know, figure out what to do there. It's probably going to very much compensate in like the Hermes orange direction, but we'll get there when we get there. I wanted also to demonstrate this limited edition Tarot one. And, you know, yes, it's got an embossing on it, and it's very, you know, we're supposed to try and preserve that or whatever. Or like, I don't know, again, like worship it for a second, but the finish is beautiful on this. I have no idea what the story is here. No idea what the story is, but it's a very nice orangey blush. It's sheer and it has a little bit of that luminosity to it that's just usually really blurring on the skin. Typically I wouldn't apply this right on top of a cream, but that was a cream to powder hybrid, so I think it works. I mean, I've done it before. I know it works. So I'm gonna use this old ass Real Techniques brush. Whoa, brother. Whoa there, brother. She said pigment. Okay. See, quite quite nice. Boop. You can see the luminosity. Very pretty. I feel like that's the running theme in this look, is that if it doesn't have natural moisture to it, it has luminosity, and some of it has both. Need all that help I can get, you know. And I'm gonna also put that like in my eye look, because that's gonna cancel out some of that purple like I was talking about. Like, not even cancel it out. It's gonna cover it up. That's what we need. We need to cover up the purple stuff. And what I might do is what I have been doing, and that is I will add in some of this at the end. This is their, I guess, fall collection. I said that it was like spring or summer. It just felt like it had been ages ago. I think this is the fall blush. This is the Jardin Imaginaire. And as you can see, it's mauve, and it goes with my lips a lot better, so I have been using that to kind of like bring the two more kumbaya close together. This little guy, whew, aggressive. Let's do something really fun, and that is open this thing that I paid money for knowing that everyone says that it sucks. That'll be fun. All right, Givenchy Prisme Libre. All right, now I have the project of getting this off of there. So let's just see how bad it is. What a weird way to go into something. Oh. Well, it's white. What's that about? No, usually it just disappears. Why is it white? Is that what I'm supposed to notice? Because that's the first thing that I notice, is that like, we're not canceling any colors out. It's just white, and it's not doing any favors. Wow, the magic is gone. Well, we had to find out for ourselves. We had to go put our hand on the hot burner, didn't we? Is it hot? Yes, it's hot. So there you have it. Not a fan of that. Let's do the Tower 28 on the other side. See what we're working with. You know, if I really have an emergency here, I can just douse my face in that Urban Decay All-Nighter Extra Glow and, you know, save the world. So here's the Tower 28. And it doesn't really make any excuses for how white it is. And it is still less white. Because it's at least translucent, you know? Is it my favorite thing in the world? No. I still love the KOSAS the most, does. The Tower 28 is just micro blurring without adding coverage. In this case though, and again, this isn't the first time that I've used this, I much prefer, for that purpose, the Laura Mercier, the new one, the Translucent Pressed Setting Powder Ultra Blur. And you can tell because it's in the circular container. It does tend to hard pan, but that's what Scotch tape was made for. It's the only thing Scotch tape was made for. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't think you'll be like displeased with it, but better powders exist. For the purposes of something translucent, I recommend this, and you can pry this from my cold dead hands. Okay, so I don't love how this is looking. So I'm going to go in with the KOSAS here, because the KOSAS does at least have a pigment that is closer to my skin tone. And so that's going to make this look a little bit less just like glowing white. All told, things are going relatively well. I think that what I'm gonna do is use the blush that I already used, and I'm going to put that in my eye look, and then we're going to top with this here adorable coral one, right? And it should be fairly quick. The whole idea being, when I'm using something that's not particularly naturally occurring in my skin tone, or as I like to say, it's not skin native, it's just not something that like you're expecting to see on me, right? Then I will go into my like other parts of my face and make sure that that color also exists there. See? And now it's like, whoa, my eyes are all of a sudden far more coral than anything else. So we can actually work some brown into there. But interesting though, that on my cheeks on top of the foundation and everything, this showed up very true orange. And as like a sheer layer on top of my naturally quite purple eyelids, it pulled pink, like it pulled a pinky coral. Isn't that interesting? I find that interesting, but I find all color theory things interesting. So this comes with a very useful little toothpick that I'm not going to use. And I have to say, like, is this my favorite formula in the world? No, this again is their Ombre Essentiel. It's a shade Rose in Hand. I like am very ambivalent about this because it's powdery. It's like a sequin shadow, so it's powdery with glitter mixed in, and so the glitter kind of gets eclipsed by it. Ooh, y'all, I was at Sephora yesterday and I started swatching stuff. Was that yesterday? That was the day before yesterday. And I ended up sending Rebecca a video of me having swatched all of the, oh no, I forget what they're called, but they're like the individual shimmery sequiny eyeshadows from Too Faced that they came out with that I made fun of because they only came out with one shade at first. And I was like, really? We're supposed to lick your boots about one shade? Like, no. And so they've expanded it, and I was like, okay, so they're doing single shadows now, like exciting, you know, moon dust type stuff from Urban Decay. Except I swatched these and I was like, oh no, these are so pretty. So I was like, I regret to inform you that these are great. And she said, I regret to inform you that you're going to need to buy one. And I said, I regret to inform you that the one that I want is sold out in store. And so I am going to have to order it online, but it's the like, it's called something sparkle. Don't know if that helps, but I am going to be buying one because they're really pretty. Hate to say it. They're like wet look, they're gorgeous. So I really don't feel much about that, but that's not surprising to anyone because I usually don't really like the Chanel powder eyeshadows. Ooh, I know what we're gonna use. We're gonna use the new Thrive because Thrive expanded their shade range in their Brilliant Eye Brightener, and they are actually doing mattes in it now, which I think is funny because it's called Brilliant Eye Brightener, but they had the Infinity Waterproof eyeshadow stick for a while, which was not good. And that's not a secret. I told them that in a video, and I told Carissa that on a text. You know, like, I don't pull punches when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I am just so happy to see them expand this shade range because this is an excellent formula. It's been excellent since day one. I took it traveling with me. So we're gonna use the shade Shany Joe, and it is this beautiful matte, it's a khaki color, okay? It's just khaki colored. This is one of the formulas, I would say, besides Phytosurgence, that I hear from oily lidded folks is the closest thing to being incredibly budge proof, like completely budge proof. And is this really going with the coral eye right now? I'm not sure. We might pivot on the coral eye. I actually, like, I spent no money on that. My sister gave it to me. I have no love lost. I feel absolutely like no reservations in telling you that I don't really want to work with it anymore. You know, you can use it like this. This, again, this is a formula that's existed for a really long time. They just have never, to my knowledge, made them in a matte. And the Brilliant Eye Brightener, I always say, oh, nobody can make a shimmer in an eyeshadow stick. And I guess that's not really true. I won't say that all of them are satisfying in the Brilliant Eye Brighteners, but the light shades, like Estrella, that is a bright, blingy pearl color that they do, and it is really effective. It's like an exciting eyeshadow to wear. I think that I'm going to go the KULFI direction. I think this is gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna go Bronze Brocade. I've actually had this one for a while, so it's pretty dried up, but it's still a cream. And it's gonna be like a moody, smoky moment. We're just gonna kind of cover up that Chanel, because you know how I feel at this point. Do not like run out and buy that on my account. If you're unfamiliar with the Zari Eyes formula, it actually starts out, I have Sona Sona, I'll show you in a second, as like a very creamy gel, and they are very wear all day, like absolutely beautiful, tenacious formulas. But as you have them for a while, they do become a little bit more of just kind of a cream shadow, but I find that they still very much outperform something like the Charlotte Tilbury. And I love to see that they're expanding the shade range. And then I'm gonna go in with Sona Sona because I'm over it, you know what I mean? This coral is just looking a little bit sick on me. Sona Sona, I brought you with me, oh, when I traveled because you're special. So that's what she looks like, ooh. And yeah, this one's like way newer and squishier. I just get stoked to apply this every single time because it's so stinking satisfying, look at that. And you still can see a little bit of the coral underneath. It's not a 100% like opaque color. You know what this does? I realized this. I actually realized it with Hindash when we were shopping at Blue Mercury together. I was like, this scratches the itch that is like the void that's left behind by the fact that I emptied my boy tears a long time ago and it has not restocked. So I'm just like, I will pacify myself now with Sona Sona because it does. It reminds me a lot of Boy Tears. Let's pull out this Gucci highlighter. I'm not gonna say I'm done with my eyes, but like, I'm done for now. So this is the shade Sunrise Gold, and like, it has a phenomenal shift to it. It's hard to see it on camera. Ooh, but yeah, on a swatch, it's like definitely is like that velvety feeling that it definitely feels like a gel, but it doesn't, I don't think you can like put, ooh, you can, yes, it does. It has the same kind of putty thing to it that the Natusha Denounou does. So hers looks a little different in the pan, but you can see there are divots in it because you can actually make impressions. This one is creamy enough that it will like make a fingerprint. So I'm actually gonna put it on a sponge, see what happens if I do that. Okay, you get a lot. That's how you get a lot of this, is by putting it on a sponge. And that's a little bit wild because I was like, oh, it's a gel. Let's see. Because I've only applied it with a brush so far. Let's go with a brush. Yeah, it's perfectly fine diffused on a brush. Probably gonna go with a little bit more blush, kind of counteract what I just did. I'm also going to take it on like a, you know, a small-ish eyeshadow brush and do inner corner things with it. Finish out my eye look to some degree. And for those of you who are new here, I tend to put my highlighter up here more than here. So it ending up there was a mistake that I'm about to fix. I do want to analyze for a second what color I want to put there, because I think we have an opportunity to like close the gap on all these colors right now. And I do think that I want to use the old Chanel here, pull a little bit of that purple in. What do y'all think? Do you think that's gonna work? I think that's gonna work. So I have a Bare Minerals brush here. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. Da, 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 da. Such a beautiful color. Okay, I feel like this now leaves us open to be able to do whatever I want on my lips because we have basically neutralized everything. It went from coral and orange to having a little bit of this like nice purple to it, and then my eyes are just a really good warm brown with that little bit of coral behind it. So it's like, I don't know, we have options. We have options. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. You're not my real dad. What should we do on my lips? Let me do the rest of my eyes and then we will come back because I've got some stuff to swatch, to just show it to you, and then we'll make a decision. This is the Causemetics, what was it called again? Shape Shift Mascara, and it is quite lovely. She really knows a tubing mascara. It is also, this is just secondhand knowledge, my friend Rebecca has very straight downward pointing eyelashes. She does not get along with the Thrive because it is so heavy. It's full of fibers and it just all happens really fast. Okay, I will admit that. I like it, but I understand why some people don't. She loves this. She's like, this is really impressive. It actually like holds my lashes. I'll show a photo of her eye at the end of the day she sent to me. So it only comes in black so far, but I do think that the original one from Causemetics did end up coming in brown eventually, so I would not be surprised if Michelle does put this out in a brown eventually. Also, the last one was just not as like high impact as I would like, and so this one is, and it layers really beautifully, and it has a lot of like flutteriness. Like I feel like it's very lengthening and very easy to control, but it also builds a nice amount of like visual volume, which is what I want. I want my eyelashes to look thicker, not just longer. And I just got something in my eye. Now I just got everything in my eye. Well, that's okay because tubing mascaras are really easy for that. So I'm going to kind of see how long we can lengthen them here with this wand. The wand is a kind of double curve, very subtly, but a double curve molded nylon, whatever you would call that. Some people are kind of coming to my comments talking about how the reason that the Sarah Creel mascara that just came out that is really expensive, I think it's like $42 or something. It's insane, and this is $26. The fact that this is so expensive, people were saying a lot of R&D went into this brush. Okay, I'm just so confused by that. It's just a brush, like, sorry. I hate to yuck your yum or call your baby ugly, but like, I don't get it. So, one of the best things about a tubing mascara is that when you do something like this, which I have thoroughly done, and there's still something in my eye, is that if it's dry, which she is, you can take a spoolie and absolutely just knock it off your skin. Nothing bad happens. I think you can do this with a regular mascara, but a tubing mascara is flawless. Is that as high impact as the Thrive? No, not by a long shot, you know? But it is very pretty and it is a great formula, like I said, for those who want a really effective tubing effect, because this does tube, but it's lightweight enough and it dries quickly enough to hold a curl. I think that it is better than the Sarah Creel. It is not as good for my personal wants and needs, but also my curly eyelash privilege. So the Thrive, I just really like the Thrive. And then, you know, kind of somewhere in the middle there is like Hourglass, you know. Hourglass is for those of us who don't have completely straight eyelashes, but we also don't want everything to be like, you know, bulky, hunky, chunky, full of fibers. And I personally like my bulky, hunky, chunky, full of fibers that I get from the Thrive. And Thrive comes in brown, as well as blue and iridescent magenta and all sorts of things. So, you know, go nuts. All right, a little bit of KULFI moment here. I promise KULFI doesn't pay me. I just am very impressed by them. I have, you know, affiliate links with them, like through Shop My Shelf, but there's no specific like advantage that KULFI has that would cause me to show preferential treatment to their products, other than the fact that their products are just darn good, okay? They're just very, very good, and I feel like they do not get their flowers enough. All right, let's swatch some lip products real quick. I've got the one that I was talking about. It is the Rouge Coco Flash in Bisou, and you know, for it coming in a pack of coral things, it's mighty pink, okay? And I have, like I said, been using it like on the top of my cheeks to create something very girly, whatnot, and I don't think that this look needs that today, but we'll see. Then we have the new NARS Explicit lipstick in the shade Envy. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how these are like really matte. I don't know, maybe I didn't see that, maybe I'm imagining that, but they are not. They're like beautifully creamy, beautifully creamy. Look at that color, look at it. It's so pretty. I keep this in my purse alongside the Dries Van Noten lipstick. I don't remember what color it is, but it's like another sort of like in-between rosy, rusty tone. And literally it's like my get ready in the car product, because it's like you can just take this and smear it on your cheeks and put a little bit on your lips and you've got a makeup look. Same thing with the Dries Van Noten. So that color is just bananas. It's so good. That might be what I end up wearing. And then me and Hindesh both had an absolute fit over this. I can't believe I didn't have this color yet. So I hardly ever buy things from RMS because they're so generous sending things to me. But this is the shade Rumor in their lip lights. Look at that freaking color, you guys. All right, okay, first of all, that's how it squeezes out of the tube, right? The most beautiful, intense looking desaturated mauve. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's so desaturated. It's so almost gray. So this is not in the equation. So which one is it? Hello. Coordination. That's lovely. Yeah, I think we go NARS on this one. But the lip lights, I mean, that's gonna be such a useful shade for me, especially as we get into winter, because that's like a very naturally occurring color in my face. I do think I'm gonna use some of the NARS lipstick as blush as well, so. Is that not just so beautiful? Get freaking real, right? I mean, come on. And when I spread it out like that, yes, it looks matte, but I swear it doesn't feel like drying or anything. It's so pretty. Okay, like NARS, I want to go like consult for NARS just so that I can be in a room with whoever is deciding on these colors, because I want to just know them, okay? I just want to know them. I just want to meet the people who are deciding on these colors, because I think that we would get along, okay? That's all. When in doubt, put your lipstick on your cheeks. When not in doubt, put your lipstick on your cheeks. I mean, they're just such similar formulas if you think about it. A lipstick and a cheek product in most cases. I think that also it's far more likely that a lipstick translates onto the cheeks than it does the other way around, because putting something in your mouth that isn't meant for your mouth can be a little risky, but like this, there's no risk to this. It makes me make unflattering sounds. It's so pretty. The only thing that's bugging me right now is that, and that is not anyone's fault really, but it does give me a chance to use this incredibly expensive concealer that, again, Hinesh and I kind of like mutually like not bully each other. We co-enable, and we co-enabled to buy this just in different respective shades. But this is the Tom Ford concealer that my friend Natalie of My Skin Trist loves so much. And it is pound for pound, you know, if you want to compare a stick to a tube, you know, it is more cost effective than the Victoria Beckham. So, ta-da! So I got this in the shade 0W0 Shell, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Am I pretty? Oh, I think this is a really good time to use the Divine Water from Causemetics. Somebody told me that she's not McCult anymore. Is that true? Can we unproblematically talk about Michelle Phan again? Because her stuff is brilliant. Oh, when I say this smells so good. This is the Divine Water Perfecting Mist. It smells so good. And when I got it in PR, it was already sold out, so I didn't really get a chance to talk about it enough, but like, come on. I want to smell like that all the time. I don't understand why. It's like a very, very soft, sweet floral. It's lovely. So if I was trying to conceal my feelings as we went along on the VIEVE Beauty products, I did a pretty bad job of concealing my feelings, because I think you could tell throughout the entire process that I am just extraordinarily impressed by them. There are no notes. The only thing is that they're fragranced, and that is a problem for some people, but I'm very used to working with luxury beauty, and they put fragrances in, gosh darn everything. I've had way worse reactions to just random ingredients than I have fragrance. So these don't bother me at all. It's just a matter of whether you actually like the fragrance. I don't know. It's just kind of sweet and floral. That's all. But it doesn't bother me, and it definitely doesn't linger. These two things, absolutely incredible. I don't think that you necessarily need both, but you wouldn't be mad if you got both. And the little primer, you know, comes in a little one, so that's cool. This, I found the shades to be pretty intuitive. I don't quite remember how many shades there are, but it wasn't wildly expensive, and the shade range seemed pretty logical and well researched. And I just love just the options that I have with the coverage and how illuminating and gorgeous it looks. Like, it just looks like happy skin without any gimmicks, without any tricks. It doesn't have like, you know, some kind of like mica in it, or it doesn't have any like, it's not like it doesn't dry down or something. Like, no gimmicks, just beautiful, like just unabashedly beautiful. And then I love that you get the option of having so much more coverage with the concealer. So if you were thinking about these, this could become, I mean, if this is the kind of makeup look you're going for, something where your skin shows through and it looks like a skin finish, this could be your everyday duo, absolutely no problem. Like, it sparks joy every time I use it. There's just something that I look forward to about using these, because I know how much they're going to improve the appearance of my skin in so few steps, and it just looks, I mean, you can't deny it. That looks like skin. It looks great. So y'all, it is like like 10 o'clock, I think, something like that. I've been wearing this makeup all day, so yeah, a good 10 hours easily. And I fell asleep in my kid's bed with him, and I just woke up and I wanted to show you under, you know, just normal bathroom lighting. Like, it's just so pretty. Are you kidding me? I would never be mad at my skin looking like that at the end of the day. I don't know what's in this stuff, but they get my money, okay? Like, it has no business being that pretty. They're lovely. They're not wildly expensive. We're not talking about Chanel here or something like that. And I think that she just did an absolutely wonderful job with this. The Chanel things, do you need to run out and buy these? No. I'm actually kind of unpleasantly surprised at how orange, like coral this is. I was really hoping it was gonna be a wintry, like neutral beige, but it's just kind of a soft peach, and that's fine. But it is called Beige Eclatant. I don't know what Eclatant means, but I was hoping for beige, and we got peach. So then we have this Tarot one, which these are both like really, really expensive. And I did buy them with my own money, obviously. And this one is also, I mean, it's beautiful. The formula is absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to deny that, but like, it is not everyone who needs like a tangerine grapefruit colored blush all the time. Like if you do, you do, and I can recommend this one, but I still am like, I found myself working against it a little bit because it is just so unabashedly like orange. Yeah, duh, khaki. It's right there in the name. It is really blurring and smoothing. I could see people liking it, but like be prepared that that color is not shying away from what it is. The eyeshadow, I feel absolutely nothing about. Like, I don't understand why a brand like Chanel has so many misses, you know? Because it's like they do also have so many hits. So it's not like, oh, I don't like their brand because I disagree with the decisions that they make. It's like they have different teams for different things, and like their eyeshadow team and I just do not see eye to eye, as it were. But like me and their complexion team, besties, you know, love your foundations. I don't know why, like, we don't all seem to be aligned on what the makeup is supposed to perform like, but them's the breaks today. Powders, let's talk about the Prisme Libre. Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, sad. It's not good, so that sucks. The beauty of this was always that it disappeared into the skin, both in texture and in color, and it doesn't do either one of those. This feels like, you know, e.l.f. at this point, honestly. Like, I think e.l.f. Halo Glow is easier to work with than this and doesn't over brighten like this did. Like, this just looked kind of pale and pasty, and I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did, but it wasn't good, and they need to try again. Back to the drawing board store for y'all. Givenchy. KULFI can have my second-born. I'm really partial to my first-born, but they can have my second-born. I don't have a second-born for those new here. I just have one child. That was a joke. Anyway, this is fine, the Gucci, but again, it was very unfortunate on their part to release something at the same time as like a highlighter that will define a generation. Okay, like this is a pretty good highlighter. The Hindash highlighters are so exquisite that like they will become instant classics. We will forget about the Gucci ones after not too long. The Hindash ones are forever, so just bear that in mind. The Tower 28 powder, I haven't tried all the shades obviously, but again, nothing to write home about. It is a powder. I'm not really sure what the appeal of this is supposed to be, but I don't think that I am its customer. Unfortunately, the Tom Ford concealer is quite lovely. I've been using it quite a lot. Unfortunate because it's wildly expensive. It's the last thing I need is another wildly expensive concealer, but at least I like this one. And then look at it. I mean, this color is banana. It's so, so, so lovely. And no smell, no sensation. NARS just doesn't get in its own way. They're like, here are some beautiful formulas and beautiful colors and beautiful packaging. Ta-da, enjoy. And it's like, I am. So this formula comes in a metric buttload of shades, and I happen to get, like I said, Envy, and it's just the perfect enhanced nude on me that isn't my lip color. It's a little bit richer, but I can also wear it as a blush, and I don't feel like it takes over the rest of my look. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. This eye look is not properly blended. I just kind of lost my patience with it because that Chanel eyeshadow annoyed me so much. Oh, and like Run Do Not Walk as always. I will never say a bad word about the Brilliant Eye Brighteners. Like I said, do not confuse them with the Infinity waterproof eye thingies that are in the same packaging. I don't know if they discontinued those, but they were really hard to work with. And these are already like really high performing and long wearing and waterproof. So like, I don't know why those needed to exist, but these are incredible. And now they have mattes and I'm very happy about it. We're gonna be doing a video soon where I frickin' revisit Thrive because they finally have started coming out with a bunch of exciting new things. I have their tinted mineral sunscreen. I have a bunch of new lippies from them. I have their new eyeshadow sticks. They've sent me a ton of stuff lately. I might reorder their concealer because I do love it so much. And then we can have, I need to order my mascara anyway. So we can have a nice big chat about Thrive, revisiting my first brand that I ever reviewed on my channel. That'll be fun. So anyway, I hope that this was helpful for y'all. If it was, please do give the video a thumbs up. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I think it looks really pretty. Subscribe while you're here. I will put a video up here that I think that you will enjoy. If you liked this one, thank y'all for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.